My relationship with Eddie actually started through my wife, Ashley. I remember my wife and I, after being newly married, both entered a season where we had a lot to deal with. We were dealing with a lot of hurt from our old jobs, and I remember I didn't want my wife to just enter any job, any workplace, and so I chose to be the sole provider for a season to wait until my wife had the right opportunity that I knew she would love. And I remember about 6 months into my marriage, she interviewed at Inspiration Academy, where she met Eddie and the whole team there. And I remember after she got hired, she would come home every day for 2 weeks and just rave and talk about how much she loved her job, how much she looked forward to going back. And I never will forget when I first got to meet Eddie. Eddie and his wife Claire invited us over to a family gathering, from meeting Ashley. And I remember just hanging out with this guy and telling him my story, probably talking his ear off. But he just sat and listened. I mean, he had a lot of friends there, had a lot of family there, and he just sat down and got to know this 22-year-old kid and hear my story. And I just remember how intentional he was in listening. He never seemed like the guy who needed to be somewhere. Even though I've learned a thing about Eddie, he's a busy guy. He has a lot to do, he has a lot on his plate, but yet somehow, when you spend time with him, he seems so calm and not a care in the world, not a worry in the world, and as if there's not a place he needs to be to next. One of the greatest things Eddie offered my wife and I as a gift to us was when I opened up to him, and the many times I would go and talk to him about my marriage. And I used to bicker a lot with my wife and deal with a lot of fighting, a lot of challenges. And I remember telling Eddie this and telling him how frustrated I was in this. And there was two things he did that surprised me. The first thing he did was he showed me where I was probably wrong and how I needed to have some humble pie. The second thing he did was he offered the opportunity and opened the door for Ash and I to meet with him and his wife to see if he could help counsel us, work things out in front of them. And so my wife and I took that opportunity. We hung out with them, and once again, we'd block off an hour, and he would go way past that, just listening to Ash and I and giving us advice. Claire, his wife, would speak into us and really encourage us. And I learned a few things about Eddie through that. He cares about people our age. He wants to see the young family strong, healthy, and raising good kids and have a strong marriage. And he's willing, if he has the means and has the needs, he's always willing to be generous and give his time, his money, and his effort to help people out. That has changed my perspective